Welcome to another Conversations with a Dog Trainer video. I'm Nick Zagolis, the owner of Family Canine Dog Training. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. We're going to take a look at Tilly today. Tilly is a miniature poodle, and specifically Tilly had issues biting her owners if they would touch her paws, touch her butt, touch her tail.
She has issues when we touch her paws, and, when we need to groom her and clean her. She gets aggressive and bites.
Mike and Stefania, Tilly's owners, contacted me because that issue now was coming to a head given the fact that they were expecting their first baby. So as a dog trainer, I often have to play the role of forensic analyst. In other words, you drop clues and breadcrumbs and I sort through them. I throw some of them in the trash. I put some of them to the side, maybe save them for later. And some of them I say, yep, that's useful right now. And we start to connect dots and put pieces of a puzzle together. Tilly is a very social dog. She loves contact. She loves attention. She's very affectionate. She's very playful. She's all the wonderful things people want to see in their pets. So why is this dog biting, and why specifically paws, butt, and tail? Well, they got the dog at 8 weeks old, and the breeder, this blew my mind, the breeder had her groomed with a show cut. What puppy, if you ask puppies, raise your hand if you think this is the idea of a fun hour or two. Stand on a grooming table at 8 weeks old, don't move because we don't want to hurt you with the clipper. And we want to make sure you look good for your new owners. This makes no sense whatsoever. So at a minimum, it was emotionally stressful for the dog, and the dog may have just gone into survival mode. And at the other end, the dog may have endured some pain while being groomed. So now let's take a look at this. The dog goes home with her new owners. She's 8 weeks old. Remember what I said now, I'm starting to connect dots. They go to wipe her paws with a towel. They go to brush her. They go to do anything approximating what the dog perceives as handling the areas that were manipulated a lot and kind of like no-go zones, no-fly zones. And the dog says, oh no, now at 8 weeks old, very unlikely the dog is going to attack them. The dog is more likely going to express stress and discomfort. What is a loving dog owner going to do? Oh, okay, sweetheart. Okay, we'll try again later. Or they come in with a bunch of treats because everybody reads online to just desensitize the dog with food. But if the fear is very real, you're not just going to walk in with food and have the dog forget about the fear. So they go in and they try these things, and then the dog says, well, if I panic and I avoid, for some reason that seems to work. So it's not a fun or comfortable experience for the dog, but the dog learns to activate a stop button. Boom, I can stop you. Boom, I can stop you. If I panic, if I run away, if I look sad, if. Now the problem progresses months and months and months. And finally the owners say, well, we've got to be able to wipe her paws. Now I'm not speaking about Mike and Stefania specifically. I'm talking about the anatomy of how this problem typically ends up where it is. I've been training dogs for 31 years. I know exactly how we get from the starting point to where they're at when they contact me. And the dog says, well, you're starting to be a little pushier about this. All the things I used to do to activate a stop button don't work so well anymore. I think I'm going to have to bite you, or at least threaten to bite you. And of course, the owners don't want to get bit. There's fear. There's fear of conflict and relationship damage with the dog. So they say, whoa, 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 we don't need to have that conversation. Now the dog says, well, avoidance worked a little bit. Aggression works. Let me bring that in for the camera. Aggression works a lot. So avoidance does this. Aggression does this. So why would I go with a 1 on 10 response when I can get a 10 on 10? And what we're seeing is a dog that is very pragmatic. She's a business person. She's not aggressive because she's an aggressive dog. She's not aggressive because she has bad intentions. She's aggressive to achieve an end result. You will not touch my paws. You will not touch my bum. You will not touch my tail. You will not brush me. You will not put a towel on any of those regions as well. So you'll hear me talk about building a relationship with the dog, building a rapport with the dog. You'll hear me talk about that with her owner. Given that she's sensitive to that, okay? Don't start going in right away. Like, don't be a pig about it. Just pet the dog. Let it take a tone of It's you and me together. Like, look what she did when I knelt down, right? She wants that interaction. Okay, she's so sweet. You'll hear me talk about touching the dog and making it brief in the areas where she doesn't want to be touched, so that she understands that the relief of pressure is coming very quickly. We're not going to ask you to run 100 miles today. I'm going to ask you to walk around the block with me today. Tone. So you see how she likes that? Okay, and even this, okay? And then I'll just let go. I don't want to do too much. Now, look at what she's saying, okay? When I say listen to the dog, I'm really, really big on that. And when I'm touching her paws and her butt, and then she climbs all over me after I stop, what she's saying is touch me more. She's not saying, oh, thank God it's over and get me the hell away from this guy. Like, I have to fight her off. Okay? Okay? It's like I'm being molested. My glasses are on crooked. Tilly, please. And when you start to enjoy that walk, we can walk longer and longer, and then eventually we can run together. So we're going to build it a little bit at a time so that the dog has a good expectation of where is this story going? How far are you going to ask me to go before you tell me that is enough? We're satisfied with what you've given us. We have to teach the dog how to win and how to relieve whatever her perceived pressure is in her mind. So let's take a look at some of the training I did with Tilly early on, and then let's take a look, very importantly, at the transfer lesson with Mike and Stefania and Tilly working together. Which is usually the explosion. And what we have to do is we have to line up things before the explosion. So she's a very sweet, very lovable dog. She loves to work for me. We're working on healing, we're working on place, we're working on leave it. And she allows me to handle her all I want and brush her and touch her in all the places that would cause aggression. So here we see Mike and Stefania working with Tilly. Now out comes the heavy artillery, the brush. The brush. The angel of death, this brush. And I asked them, bring your grooming stuff from home, because maybe there's a little bit of a trigger with their specific brush versus the one I've been using at the kennel. No, not an issue. Seamless transition. A leash in the other hand, Mike. Okay? And pet your dog and talk to her. Leash in the hand, Mike. See how I set you up there? Because in the moment, if it happens, we have to be able to shut it down. And it may never happen. And you might say, I'm wasting my time. Beautiful. It's like wearing a seatbelt. Okay, now watch this. Put the brush down for a second and just sit on the floor. So you see what she's telling you by coming into you? It wasn't an awful experience for her because she'd be getting the heck out of Dodge. Okay, grab the brush. Now make sure you have no tension in your leash because that'll make your dog tense. Now you see her mouth is open. That's a good sign. Okay, a tense dog tends to have a closed mouth. Oh yeah. Yeah. If your dog was threatened by your eye contact, your relationship would be broken, or you would have a dog who has some loose wiring. Now, if your dog tried to hug you while you're brushing her, but like frantically, that's her trying to get you to stop. That's the kid at bedtime, I want a glass of milk.
And when you do, you continue or you stop?
I would place her back on the floor and keep brushing her. I'll tell you when we're ready for that. Basically, don't let the dog weasel her way out because it will fuel her belief that struggling pays. So then the next thing you know, she starts spinning in circles. You know, before when you were going to handle her and she was spinning around, I was saying lock her down, okay? Because any kind of struggle, you know what happened, right? Like I'm probably on track where I say when you first got her and she would pull a paw back and you would say like, just give her a minute or offer her another treat or whatever you did. But it created a belief system in your dog's mind of struggling means I can stop something that I perceive as unpleasant.
okay? So we have to show the dog that she's not gonna stop us. And be careful anytime you're handling, that you're not handling her in any way where she could perceive it as restraint, because that will provoke a defensive response. That's like getting handcuffed, okay? So if she's leaning in and she loves the headlock while you're just being affectionate, that's one thing. And then you go to brush or touch an area that she doesn't like, loosen that grip now, okay? Another neat thing you can do, because her place command is so solid, is you can put her on her place, and now you have a captive audience to towel her, to touch her, to brush her. And now you can do whatever you want over there. That's my magic spell with the dog.
It was a great experience.